So.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Paul Schaefer.
I'm Will Lee.
And you are watching the Letterman podcast.
Welcome once again to the Letterman podcast. My name is Mike Chisholm. Before we get going with this episode, we want to remind you we have one sponsor and one sponsor only on this show, and that is Rupert G's Hello Deli. Yes, Rupert G and May are selling the deli right now. They're ending their 30-plus year run as owners of one of the most famous soup and sandwich shops New York has to offer. You can buy Letterman merchandise there still, though. Late Show with David Letterman merchandise. Go to hello-deli.com, and Rupert packs these orders himself. You can buy a t-shirt, you can buy a Late Show mug, you can buy a hat, you can buy Rupert merchandise, and I would recommend doing it sooner than later, because we don't know what's going to happen and how things are going to work, how things are going to settle when the sale happens, but we will keep you posted as to what's going on there. So go to hello-deli.com and get yourself some Letterman or Rupert G Hello Deli merchandise. This is a fun episode. We are doing we're calling it the Summer Intern Series, which is probably going to go into the fall and maybe even beyond. I got a whole list of interns that former interns of either Late Night with David Letterman or Late Show with David Letterman that want to come on and talk about their experience. It's really, really fun doing this and kind of, putting together a puzzle of the different memories that folks have, and all the pieces are different. It's very cool. I'm enjoying it immensely. Today's episode is one I enjoyed very much. That is very evident. So, legendary writer Steve O'Donnell, a gentleman I absolutely adore, and every once in a while we have a phone conversation, and it's a lot of fun. And on one of our most recent ones, he said, "Hey, I've got some interns that I do an imitation of Steve in the show, actually, which is something I enjoy doing because he's got a very distinct voice, very gravelly yet excited voice, very present and I don't know, slightly intense, not intense, that's not the right word, energetic. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Steve said to me that he had a couple of interns that were in his circle still, and this is one of them. This episode is one of them. The gal's name is Molly Sweet. I believe it was the summer of '91 that she interned. When she and I had an intro phone call, we just absolutely hit it off. We've had so much fun. This episode is going to be very much a reflection of that statement. She is great. I really, really appreciate Molly. After her run at Letterman, she went over and got into the hotel business, and now she's in the nonprofit sector, and she's putting on some pretty major things and doing in charge of some major events in the Northeast, in the Pittsburgh area. I just really, really enjoyed talking to Molly. The delight that she had for that summer as a 19-year-old kid working in 30 Rock for Late Night with David Letterman. It was one that she clearly has never forgotten, and she goes back to that place pretty easily. She and I have an absolute ball doing this together. I hope you enjoy it. I hope it translates. I hope the joy that we had and the laughter and all of that, I hope it's infectious and this makes your day a little bit brighter. This is the Letterman podcast with Mike Chisholm featuring Molly Sweet. By the way, Molly Sweet, not a stage name. We checked into it. We looked in. No, it's her Christian name. Pretty crazy. Okay, so here's the thing. Whenever Steve O'Donnell tells me something, I listen. And one of the things that he told me, he said, "Mike, you have to meet this Molly. She is
what an
fantastic."
impersonation.
And told me, "Oh, I love Steve, and I do love him. I do love impersonating him. Like I do. I love this guy."
What did he say?
"Mike, you must meet Molly. She is vivacious and hilarious, and she loves to talk, and she's good at it. And I think you two will have a great conversation." But he said funnier things than that. He better vocabulary, and I got to get better at it. But
he has very big words. Yeah.
I'm so grateful to do this. You and I have had
so nice
so much fun getting to know
you.
each other. Molly Sweet, real name, not a stage name, but Molly Sweet. Welcome to the Letterman podcast.
Thank you, thank you for having me. I am very, very flattered to be here. This is amazing. What a fun time to, and it's been, I would like to thank you in advance for the wonderful trip down memory lane I've had over the past 2 days.
Yeah.
Down there with my, in the cobwebs and my college crates looking for, pulling up the relics. I was psyched. I was like, I was jogging in the memory. I could remember all the stories. It was great. So it's been a really fun time re-experiencing this.
Yeah, it's well, it's great for us too, and it's cool because this intern thing has kind of turned into a summer series. I'm releasing bonus episodes. I've wanted to find a theme to release some extra content, to do more than just one a week, and having all of these interns come on and tell the stories. I had a longtime staff member say to me, "Hey, Mike, you got to talk to the interns. They have all the good stories." But the cool thing is we've had a few on already, and I've had a few longtime staffers message me back saying, "Oh, I'm so glad to hear what happened." A guy came on the show a few weeks ago named Andy Carson. Andy Carson was Paul Schaefer's intern just before the turnover. So it was like 90, 91 in that area. And
I was there in 91, so I vaguely remember.
Okay, so Jill Bayer, Andy Carson were there at the same time. I know you were there just like before or after. You guys
summertime, like, so they were probably there during the semester.
There you go. But anyway, yeah, so people are like, I'm so grateful to hear what's happening with Andy. He's been on Good Day Oregon for 20 years, and knowing that he still stayed in broadcasting.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's so fun, right? Like, even I moved around a lot in high school, and everyone's like, "Oh, social media, it sucks." I'm like, I know, unless you went to 3 high schools, like I mean, I would have never been able to know what happened to anybody. I mean, it's been like, there's good and bad in everything, right? Everything in moderation, especially moderation.
Especially moderation. Could not agree more. I'm so grateful that I get to unleash you to the world, in our world anyway, because you're just so electric, and the story is great. The stories are great. Let's go back to the beginning.
Interview.
No, we don't do that. We don't. No. I just like shooting the bull with you, and it was like, okay, this is going to be a fantastic episode. Let's go back to the beginning. Where'd you grow up? Where did you go to school? And how did you end up becoming an intern at Late Night with David Letterman?
I grew up in Syracuse, New York, right in the city, in the Strathmore area, on Arden Drive. And I grew up the oldest of 4 children, and my dad is still, he's an American classic in my opinion, but the eternal salesman, DJ, radio personality, the voice, always playing rock and roll. It was a lot of, I've got some good news and some bad news. Good news is I'll be home for the holidays. Bad news, lost my job. My dad really hit it in hotel management, and we had to move. So when I was in 9th grade, we moved to Harrisburg, which was a huge adjustment. It was a very, very small suburban, very suburban, small little town called Camp Hill. And I had a lot of eyeliner and a very heavy New York accent that wasn't like the good one. And everyone thought I liked a girl named Ellen for 6 months. And it was a guy named Alan. That's how bad it was. Anyway, that happened. So I was there for 9th, 10th, half of 11th grade, riding bikes in Camp Hill, And then my dad's like, "We're moving to Pittsburgh." I'm like, "What is it, the pants?" I'm from Syracuse, sorry, Syracuse, but dome dogs and dome foam. That's it. Like, there is nothing going on. So we come to Pittsburgh, and I get to live with my dad ahead of everybody else. And I have my own hotel room, and I put up my Madonna posters, and I have room service, and my dad drives me to school every day. And after school, I go to the real estate agent's house, who my mom ended up working there for years later. But anyway, there I am. And that's just how I met all the friends and everyone that I'm friends with still to this day. And, I love Pittsburgh. I'm a diehard Pittsburgh person, but so how did I get to Letterman? So I was at WVU.
Okay.
Which, is considered, like, at that time, and when I went there, it was 1989, was considered, well, the truth was I just had terrible SAT scores. I was brilliant. I'm much better than essay question. You know what I mean? Anyway, The truth is that this is the truth of the matter. Of course, at that time, it was the height of the popularity. I mean, in my sorority house, they'd have the top 10 reasons to pay your bill this week. Like, it was like around all the time, always referenced.
Yep.
So the truth of the truth, I was thinking about this today because we were going to talk, and here's the truth. So it says a lot about what you can do with the power of the mind and being dumb. And just
a helpful naivete,
just
a healthy
dumb,
naivete.
because like really, there's a thing about persistence, right? So I just made it a game. So I found out my suite mate in the dorm, Patsy, leave her last name out. She's one of my most favorite people, but I found out that she had secured an internship at ESPN, and she wanted to be a sports person. And in 1989, for a woman to get that, like, that was outrageous. And I was just, I didn't know where it came from, just incredibly jealous. And I was like, well, I will just show her. I will find out. So I just like hunted down this poor woman named Colette Coleman, who worked at the NBC David Letterman show. And I just never thought I'd get it. It was just a game. Like, it didn't matter. My dad had all these freaking flyer points from being the hotel guy. I figured it was all just fun and games. There was no way in hell I was ever going to. And then her name's Colette, and that's my middle name. And then I found out she was super duper pregnant and really was stressed out and wanted to be done. And I just called her every day. Like, I'm embarrassed about it.
So you call up 30 Rock. Hello, 30 Rock. Yeah, I'm looking for Colette in the Letterman office. That's what you're doing?
Yeah, no, I had a direct dial. I was like, Colette, hi, it's Colette. I had a neon glow phone on Spruce Street at WVU. I was like, I mean, it was totally a game, like a totally. And I remember the day that they called and they said, I got it. And they asked me if I wanted, I think I told you this was on research or talent. And I was like, what's that mean? And they're like, research, this is before the interwebs. So there was no, it was like, but there's no writer or anything like that option. But I was like, well, yeah, talent, sure. And I remember just hanging up that glow phone and like jumping around in this apartment, and like nobody was there. Like, nobody believed me. Like, I was like, no, seriously, I'm going to New York. They're like, all right, sweet, whatever. It's your
sure,
turn.
you're a Molly.
Yeah.
And how long before you got the call? Did you do an interview then?
I did the interview. Yeah, it's very like yes, I did. I was very persistent, as I might have mentioned. So I kind of wasn't taking enough for an answer. It was a game. So I told Colette, poor Colette, she hated me. I was like, I can come there on Wednesday. And I just like took my dad's freaking flyer miles and literally did the old makeover at Macy's, where I looked pretty much like a prostitute. And then I was wearing this wrap.
Hey, Molly, sweet.
For my sorority sister. Anyway, it went great because then I saw how pregnant she was, and then I completely harassed her. And then I just never thought I'd get it. And then I did. And then that was great, because then my grandmother had to like find me an apartment in New York, bridge game. And that's a good story, because like this girl supplied clothes to me that didn't quite fit, and I'd wear them anyway because they were fancy. It's all very funny, but it all happened. And then you're in it, and so much life has gone by. You think, did that really happen?
Yeah.
And then talking to you has been so fun, because
you're back there.
Yeah.
I've gotten that a lot, where there are people who were there for, a cup of coffee or a couple cups of coffee, and they're like, it was a blur, but it did happen. And talking about this now, it brings it all back because of how exciting it was.
Significant time too, and all of, if you're really a fan of late night television, and I realize now in hindsight how much I just do love the medium so much of television, particularly. I don't know why. I'm so always been very drawn to it. Just as Steve put it once, I think in my letter of recommendation, we putting on a mini extravaganza day after day. I mean, I got into hospitality, which was very similar. Every day is a different group, a different, and that kind of, it was like we said, is a skill set, right?
Yep.
But it's not really my love. Like, I loved that stuff, and it wasn't the famous people and stuff. It was just the whole the energy of that kind of those people I like. Yeah. So
mini extravaganza every day. That's
mini extravaganza.
That is such a Steve O'Donnell-ism.
I'm not showing you that letter, by the way.
Oh, well, okay. Let's tell people about the letter. If you're not showing, can you show it?
Recommendation letter. I'm not showing it to you.
You're not showing it. Okay. But yeah, he gave you a letter of recommendation, and it is framed on your wall, which I think is absolutely.
Yeah, it was lost, for a while, and it was recovered, dusted off. You don't think you're ever gonna, and then it's been really wonderful. We reconnected a little bit over a year ago, via the interwebs.
And that's how Steve and I connected as well. And I mean, you've been out with him too.
It wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be. Yeah,
no.
It's been great.
And it just, I've shared a couple of meals with him, and it just times that I continually tell the people the stories, whether they want to hear it or not. I love it so much. It's so entertaining. And one thing that I love about Steve, and I'm so glad that he's doing the NYU thing again, and he's teaching.
Oh,
again.
Me too. Aren't you jealous? Like, where are those
I want
classes
to be
when
there
we were
so
in school?
bad.
I'm like, what? Late night writing? He's like, oh, I can't believe that it's not full. I'm like, I can't believe there isn't, like, I just, the whole thing almost feels, it makes me annoyed almost.
Oh, me too. Like this is where
can I come in? Can I be in your pocket on your phone just listening? Like, I'm like, it's like so cool. Like, I think it's amazing that they get to take classes like that.
Last October, almost a year ago right now, I was planning a trip and I went out to New York, and that was where I met him first in the flesh. And I said to him, hey, when I'm in New York, this is like the naivete that you're talking about. I've got it in spades. I'm like a yokel almost, a bumpkin. I said to him, I said, hey, maybe when I'm in New York, one of the days I can come and audit the class. And he called me up and he's like, no, you don't understand. It's like 8 or 9 people around a table, and we've got this kinship.
He insisted on the table.
Like,
Did you hear that part? That's the best part of the whole thing.
Yes.
He just says it very nonchalantly. We're just taking a walk, and he goes, well, I only had a few stipulations, and you would think it would be like about whatever, typical, money or something. It's like, I knew the numbers, and I really wanted it to be like it really was, like around a table. I'm like, that's totally awesome. And he's like, that was like the sticking point or whatever. I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying that.
Well, see, no,
but anyway, he was really
I imagined an auditorium.
I'm sure it's all well and good.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's when he described
but I just love that. I was like, that's like the exact correct thing to be.
Yeah.
It's like my dad with hotels. My dad just excellent at it. And it's like, like he just knows what he's doing in that topic. And I find that so impressive.
And he inspires others. Like the thing is with Steve, it's like every time I have an interaction with him, I want to go do something creative. I feel inspired to go do something.
Yes, I agree.
Was he like that on the show as well?
I mean, I guess so, because I asked him for a recommendation letter. I guess that was like very not supposed to be done. I think he was just flattered that somebody asked him, because probably they were all told not to. I didn't follow the rules very well. So we got along great. I mean, he was just always he just was made me feel like I could do what I need. Like I could do what I could do what I wanted to do.
He's empowering.
It makes me feel like that. Yeah.
This is going to be the Steve O'Donnell Love Fest. This is great.
I know. God, let's change the subject.
Okay, let's go to your first day, because you find the apartment. What part of town was the apartment that Grandma found?
Oh, yeah, East 93rd between 1st and 2nd.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
So you got to live in New York,
and I could pour my coffee and take a shower. And there was not a bed. I would just like roll out the futon, cold shower, lay down. But I mean, I was 19 years old. I wasn't paid, and my grandmother said, hey, Betty, or whatever the lady's name was in the game, doesn't your granddaughter Elisa, doesn't she have a boyfriend in a high-rise with central air? And she's like, yeah, well, my daughter, it was $750. I'll never forget it. My parents, God bless them, the best parents in the whole wide world of sports. They always really came through when big stuff mattered, and they really made sure I could do that. I did steal a raw potato from the NBC commissary every day for dinner, but
stole a potato from the commissary.
Potato.
Did Brokaw see you do it? Was anybody in there while you did it? I mean, what
are they going to do? Say, shake it down for a potato? I mean, it was just so, I don't know, like, please, sir, like with that red hair, the whole thing was a bit much, but hey, listen, they were just there.
It's the New York experience that you would hope to have. And especially looking back, you think about, I was 19 in New York, and that's like,
and all of 19's wisdom.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is not much, man. Yep. Like, I think of the stupid things I did, and thank God I just laugh. But I now live with a 19-year-old, soon to be 20-year-old, and I mean, they just know everything. And she's way more convincing of it than me, but it is kind of funny. Like, why is that? Like, when you're like your best, you're also kind of your worst.
Mm-hmm. I think it's because life is a journey, and you're learning no matter what. And there's always going to be a blind spot. There's always going to be a blind spot, even when you're at your best. Let's go back to your first day. Do you remember your first day?
Oh, well, it's very, very memorable.
Okay.
Yes. So my very, 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 very first day. So, you get the letter and all you know is where to show up, and they say 1410 West Bank, and I get there, took like the bus and everything.
Yep.
So I'm there really early, but somehow I got up to the floor.
Yep.
But nobody that I worked for, I mean, I met no one yet. So you get off the elevator and then you can go right or left, and I went to the left and it's down the hallway. And I worked for Madeline Smithberg, was my direct report, and Betsy. And so
Madeline's coming on the show in a couple weeks, just so you know.
And Sheila Rogers, who did the music. She's right for Rolling Stone. And I'm standing right there in the dark, like the semi, that kind of like the lights aren't on yet. I'm there way too early. It's like 7 a.m. at Rockefeller Center. And all of a sudden I just hear this booming voice, and it's like, what is with overhead lighting? Where is the indirect lighting? I need lamps. I thought we were at Letterman. And I'm like, what's going on? And it was like a thunderous voice bounding. And I turn around and like, everyone is shorter than you think they are, except for this guy. Bill Murray is like towering over me. Like, he's huge, he's funny, and he's totally on. And he's like, where's it? Are you the intern? Oh my God, is this your first day? You're with us all day, kid. And I was. And I don't know what the bit was, but I was at one point in a shower with Bill Murray and Terry Garr.
Yes,
on my first day.
Fantastic.
I don't. It's like an out of body experience. I don't know. I just remember see, I'm always into like the logistics, right? Like I always wanted to be like in production. So I'm like, how are they getting this shot from the and that's like what and I'm like, meanwhile, like Terry Garr's like literally got a shower cap, and then what they would do, all the pre-tapes, right? So you would do like, I was with him all day one, all day. So it's like it's like the first day of school, like, you just have ice cream sundaes all day, and you're like, that's not gonna be. And then it's like, no, then you're just
no,
like,
this is not how it's gonna be.
Which you
but
totally
enjoy
were.
it
Anyway. Yeah. That's why we had a list of
did it air?
I sent you that were like a mile long. My
daughter
so hard. She's like, ooh, is that from a typewriter? It's like, yeah. Yeah, it's a thing called a typewriter.
Did it air?
Did what air?
The pre-tape thing that you did, like, did it actually make the air and all that?
So what they would do is from my understanding, like, I don't know, but my understanding back then was that they did a bunch of tapes. So like it was all day. So it wasn't just for one show. So like they would save them, like freezing your eggs if you were.
But you're not calling home saying, Mom, Dad, audience, I'm on TV tonight.
Mike, I'm going to tell everybody our little, everyone see Mike's very high and tight man bun?
Oh, there it is. Oh, you like that?
By the end of this conversation, we'll be matching.
Okay.
I raise you a high and tight.
I adore you. So you're not calling home the first day saying, Mom, Dad, I'm going to be on TV tonight.
I was never on TV.
Okay. So it was just pre-tapes. You were part of it, but you weren't ever actually
always behind the scenes. Yeah. I was never on. I was just there with the first people all day long. It was like, I don't remember a lot of it, which is, I think it's like a situation, but it's just funny just chatting with you. Like it all just comes right, and then it almost feels like it wasn't real, but I do remember all that. He was just like exactly like you would think, and nobody else really is. But he was like, I remember hawk face and but his just personality was like vibrating out of him, and very kind and weird, which was awesome.
I've been told that Bill Murray has an energy, and you can actually
feel it's very palpable. Oh yeah, I mean, I don't know, I was in the shower with him. I wasn't thinking twice about it. So I'll get in there. Do you need me to take notes?
That's day one. Okay, so
that was
talent.
Day one.
So talent here. You're working with talent, and you mentioned Madeline Smithberg. She's coming on the show in a couple of weeks. Madeline Smithberg. You talk about talent. She had a talent for finding people. And again, like you said, no internet, no interwebs back then.
No.
And she found the most interesting, oddest stories,
which was the
left of center
show,
type
right?
stuff.
It was like that human interest
thing
that like now is real every 10 seconds, but like really had to be dug for it back then.
So are you helping with that?
No.
Okay.
No. I'm like answering the phone.
Okay.
Sorting things, messing things up a lot. I was thinking today, because I knew we were going to talk, of course. So I'm thinking about this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's really remarkable the amount of things they allowed me to do with like really no supervision. I mean, it's pretty, like there was some level of trust. They must have known I wasn't a moron, but I think back, I'm like, holy crap, I can't believe like they just let me like talk to John Hughes, and I'd be like, hi, guys, John Hughes is on the phone, and they'd be like, tell him we love Ferris Bueller's. I'm like, shit, they don't want to talk to John Hughes. Like, I never knew what to do. And like, it was just like a movie. Like, my life was like a movie. It was like, not The Devil Wears Prada exactly. But like, no, I'm just kidding. It wasn't that bad. I hung out with the writers. They were very nice. I planned all of the wives' parties.
Yeah.
That's how I got into writing. I had an angle.
Do you want to host this show? I think you'll be really good at it. Oh my God. So, okay. How long were you there total?
So
6 months,
started
5
in
months?
May. It started in May and it went through the end of August. Like, I went back to go to my senior year of college.
Okay, so 4 months ish, whatever.
Yeah, like a semester. It was summer.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
I went home in the middle, which I was thinking today must have been the 4th of July, because there was a ton of show hiatus that we were in charge of where I made most of my mistakes. But that's when the infamous interview happened, and that is a funny story. And so that's what I figured it out to, because I couldn't figure out when summer started. But that script cover I gave you today was May 1, so I was there. I almost think I got out of I did finals early. I feel like it started early, so I big
right.
Yeah, because my junior year, so I was still had my senior year to go.
Well, and you get the call saying you're going to Letterman. If you're able to cut a couple weeks, you're going to cut a couple weeks. You're going to do what it takes to get there.
I worked it out. Yeah,
yeah. We're going to work. You're going to work it out. It's going to happen regardless.
I don't know if that's true. I just feel like it was like earlier than we would have been out, but maybe not. Maybe just like right at that moment.
Can you isolate this down to, is it possible to answer this question? If there was 1 or 2 tasks that you did kind of routinely, like more than any other tasks, what would they have been? Or was it just chaos all the time and you didn't know what you were going to get every single day?
I mean, we did what we were asked, and there was every day was like a different day, different thing going on, different bit that they were doing. But really, I was like a phone gal, right? So I would, that was very fun because I answered, so my desk sat in said desk, right? It wasn't a desk, it was like a counter really. And a little teeny cubicle over here was a guy named Chris Elliott.
Yeah.
And then right there is Paul Schaefer, and I answered their phones, so I learned a lot about fame and kinds of fame. And there's the kind of like these guys, the musicians on that show are just renowned, and the calls I was fielding were incredible. And same with Madeline and Betsy and Sheila's lines, because that's what I did, all the lines basically. So when somebody was emphatic and called all the time, you sort of remember the name. That's how I learned all of the area codes. Like, I got kind of pissed and started adding area codes because I was like, I know them all because of that show, because I would know like who was calling from what state. That's all I did.
So there was a prehistoric version of caller ID.
No, it just said it would just say 216. I'd be like,
yep.
Cleveland. Yeah, like I would know who was calling.
Yeah. See, again, kids don't understand that. That it was a very different time when we grew up, and that's
yes, it was, which is weird because it feels like it was yesterday.
You mentioned his name. I gotta ask. I've gone back and forth with him a little bit on email and whatnot. He's just the sweetest guy in the world. Do you have any Chris Elliott stories that are at the top of mind right now?
Oh, not a lot. No, he was really nice. That's all I remember. I remember one time he rode in on a bike, which was funny because we were way up on the 14th floor. He wasn't there a lot. It was the summer. Yeah. And so I think that was also a little weird. Everyone kind of gets out of Manhattan in the summer. So they kind of left the asylum to the inmates a lot. So, he was very nice. Like, I've spoken to him a few times and stuff, but it wasn't funny. He's just like you would think, actually. So very, very
kind
nice.
and
never
also
really understood it. I was kind of thought he was a writer. I didn't really know. He was probably like a contract guy. I don't know. Just there sometimes.
You talk about Sheila Rogers. I maintain that she has the best hair in show business, in front or behind a camera. It doesn't matter. I put her up there. Now, we might as well get to the Smashing Pumpkins story, because this is one of the things that Steve told me. I'm a huge music fan. And one of the things that I love about Sheila so much is how many bands can say or artists can say that they made their network television debut on one of Letterman's franchises. And I think about that time early on, like Smashing Pumpkins really smashed in 90, no pun intended, in 93. 91 was a while ago. That was when Gish came out. Like that's, and I mean, I love indie.
What did you say earlier? Billy had hair.
Yeah, totally. Billy had hair. That's right.
But we didn't know who Billy was, is the truth of the matter. And this lady,
nobody did at that time. Nobody.
I was answering the phones. So remember, I answered the phone. So this lady, I mean, I say I'm a salesperson to this day. So my heart went out. She was just so persistent, and she had a great name. I'm not going to say it. And she said the name of the record label, and she was just for this band, and they were it, and they were the grunge, and don't I know grunge is here to stay, and blah. And it was a Friday in the summer, and everyone wanted to leave. I did nothing dramatically great. I just gave everyone the push that they needed to blame the intern if it didn't work out. And I was like, hey guys, I hear grunge is here to stay. And I was like, basically gave the green light for them to be like, oh, if it's terrible, it's her fault. And they booked, so that I technically booked the Smashing Pumpkins first national television gigs.
They said those words. If they're terrible, it's that girl's fault. Like you
totally.
Hurt, like,
I mean, that's without saying. Most things were, so it's fine.
I don't care if it's tongue in cheek or not. That is an.
Oh absolutely... no, I did a lot of stupid shit. I blame me. I didn't know what I was doing. So
that is and would you have been there when the show happened, or were you gone by the time they got the booking? Like, was it months in advance and you didn't get a chance?
It was I feel like it was in pretty lifetime, maybe because it was summer, maybe because it was the 1991.
Yeah.
I think it was just different. So it was Dave, I think, coined the term the summer blockbuster. So it was like you'd get the people for the summer blockbuster and you could get anyone in New York. And it was actually a hard job in a way, being on talent, because just kind of like trying to make numbers in what I do now in nonprofit, you just can't create someone that's not there. So like literally everyone just wanted to go home, and I was like, oh, I just really want to give this lady a bite too. She was like so I mean, I didn't know anything about the Smashing Pumpkins, and just worked out.
Wow.
But I didn't book many guests. But I mean, there was a pet trick coordinator. Like it was a full job,
and would have reported to Madeline, I would assume, right?
Oh, I don't know how the reporting worked, but she was right next to Colette, who assisted Morty, and it was charged with dealing with hiring the interns. Poor thing. I feel bad about it. She was like 8 months pregnant with twins when I harassed her.
And talking about it to this day, how many years later? I mean, that's just. Did you ever get a chance? Now, okay, so obviously engrossed in the behind the scenes part, you love that. It seems like you love the staff and the camaraderie, and, and it was a great time. Did you ever actually watch the show live or watch the show taped?
No, I don't. We could only do things called show phones, which is like answering the phones during the show. I think I was allowed, I guess I could have gone down and hung out. I did a few times when I was asked to, but I wasn't ever allowed to be in the audience. And I was told, never in my lifetime he would recognize me and know who I was. I'm like, what the, but then I kind of got bummed out because like my family got to go to the show. Like, like my ex-husband got front row seats. Like, what the hell? Like I was like, I never get to ever, like, what if I wore a wig? Would you never, and it was like this whole folklore, and like, no, obviously it's true because I never went.
Isn't that cool?
And the biggest bummer, it was summer, so there was no SNL taping. So I've yet to go to SNL, which is like my dream. And so that's just so weird to have worked there, right there. I would like peek through the little, like under the fuzz of the like door, and then I'd get like, who are you? And they'd see my little, and then the ladies in the elevators that were like real business ladies, they'd always be like, you late night girls in your Gap clothing, like just all annoyed because we were just casual.
You bring up a great point, because like at the end of the day, you talk about the inmates in the asylum. In some ways, late night and late night staff were the inmates in the asylum for 30 Rock, right? Like, I mean, you guys were always causing stuff to happen and all that kind of stuff. I love how it was
mean to us.
What's that?
Nobody was mean to us or anything. Like the ladies just be like, they were like jealous that they had to wear pantyhose because pantyhose suck. I didn't take a job once, literally over pantyhose.
Really?
Literally. They were like, you have to wear pantyhose. I was like, first of all, let's discuss open toe shoes. Second of all, I'm not a Jimmy Dean sausage. And no. Get in this century.
Well, the job appreciated fine hosiery. Okay, that's an interesting requirement. That is, yeah, but like back in the day, companies like IBM and whatnot, they
Wasn't
had
it
a dress
long ago,
code.
dude? This is not long ago.
Really? Are you
Within
kidding
50
me?
years. No.
Wow.
It all worked out. It's fine.
It's fine. It's all
Okay.
good.
Worked out
You
very
have some softball experience. They took their softball pretty darn seriously at that
Right.
place.
And when you don't pay people, you don't tell them anything either. So I didn't know of said softball game. I was not prepared with the right anything really.
But at
And
least you weren't
I
wearing
was
pantyhose.
just told, like, go into this limo. And I was like, okay. And so my brother was a really good baseball player, presumably still is. But the point is, like, I was not. So there I am, and all I know is 3 strikes, you're out. And so I just can't wait to be out. So I go there, I'm like, woof, whiff, whiff. And then I dropped the bat. And I guess there's some rule, because I don't know, because no one told me. I was bullied as a child, and maybe that's why I did so well there. Anyway, Dave yells from the back, is this a new goddamn intern? And then this one guy's like, it's okay. Here's what we're going to do. And like we bump. And I don't know how to do that. I'm like, thanks, nice guy. And at the end, he's like, hey, would you like to go to the bar with us? We always get a couple of drinks after that. I'm like, oh, well, I have my little subway pass. And I go, I don't think I can get into the bar because I'm only 19 or 20 or whatever the hell I was. And he's like, and I had no idea that it was Bob Costas. What? So, well, I didn't know who he was. Okay. WVU journals. Really wanted to be in it. So they had a giveaway box of stuff, and I would send it to my brother who liked baseball. And one day he called, he's like, Mom, with goddamn Bob Costas. I'm like, Bob? He's so nice. He gets me in the bar, and how he does it. Like, I don't even know. So nice.
Your life at this time is like a Candace Bushnell book.
I mean, I'm a very late bloomer. It was clearly late to the party. Late to the party.
Oh, Bob? So was Bob on the late, like, was it an NBC softball
No, it
team?
was like an NBC. Oh God, you're really testing me here. Okay, it was like an NBC. We played other shows, I believe, but it was the Letterman. They did it. I mean, he taped 2 shows on Thursday over it. Like,
Yeah.
they didn't. Yeah,
They took their ball seriously.
I guess. Yeah, it's very, yeah, and it was summer, so maybe it wasn't like all the time because there was so much hiatus. Yeah,
Right.
but I remember, like, it was fun because if there was it was every Friday when they were not on hiatus, and I should remember where we went, but it was like fun because I get to go out and stuff because I like wouldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like, so it was great. Like, everyone was so nice. Like, it was a wonderful experience. Nobody was ever, it felt like work. Like, I felt like going to work. Like, we were all on the same team.
Right.
Very nice.
Did you get to keep the jersey, or was it a loaner because you were?
There wasn't a jersey that I recall.
No.
Everybody was wearing, like, I remember it was just the 10-year anniversary. I think everyone was wearing like those old T-shirts and like anything to signify they were. So I think I just wore a late night hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had no forewarning. I was probably in like mini pumps or something. I have no idea.
But no pantyhose.
Absolutely not.
Would you eat at the commissary every day?
I guess so. I don't really remember that. Oh, I know what we would do. We would go get it's funny because I still make them to this day. Salads, like they were like, I guess, pita bread, pocket bread. Like that was like a new fucking invention. Oh, excuse me, I swore. And it was like salad sandwiches from Aubon Pen. It was very fancy, but it was like cheaper almost in the commissary, I think. Anyway, we would just take shifts. Like, we didn't really go to lunch because we were interns, or like we all just kind of covering this desk.
Right.
So no big memories on lunch. Sorry.
No big.
Not many good lunch ones. Yeah. Have lunch with anyone fun. No
Mike, what are you doing right now? I'm going to the Letterman podcast. I asked them what they ate for lunch. It's great.
Yeah. Going great.
It's a hell of a show.
Do you like pickles in your tuna?
Okay. You never drove Dave's car, right?
No. Did you see the rules I sent you?
Yeah.
Do you see that list? That was a
Yeah,
list
I
of
did.
rules.
Let's
Somebody
go
would call and be like, hold on, hold. Well, I got to refer. I know the area code, so now let me make sure. Yeah, there were a lot of rules. Basically, there's just a lot of speeding tickets from what I understand, and back injuries from something to do with speeding. And Dave really didn't like people knowing his business, and I totally get it.
Mhm.
It gets misconstrued.
Absolutely, yeah, and I mean, the one thing that seems to be a tie that goes through everybody, even doesn't matter the era, is how protective people
I mean, it's
are.
weird. I was just gonna say, I'm so glad you said that first. I was just gonna say, don't go over the top, Molly. But I was like, I mean, you almost get a little protective of them, and because it was almost, I'm gonna really sound sappy, but it was kind of like an American treasure kind of thing, and you wanted to preserve the integrity of what was going on there, and
Yep.
I didn't, everything I saw was great. So, like I just felt that way. There were things I had to do that weren't fun. Like, who was that guy with the goddamn, I should remember his name. He wore the bow and arrows. He's really into guns.
Hunter S. Thompson.
No. Classic
that was
rocker.
a joke. That was a joke.
Classic rocker. It'll come to me in a second. Anyway, I had to go buy him Jack Daniels or something. And I was like, I can't. I'm only 20. And they're like, get the NBC badge. Get on the liquor. I was like, I hate this. Ted Nugent.
Oh, you're talking about Ted Nugent. Yeah. Okay. There you go. Yeah.
Sorry, Ted, but bleh. Yeah. Oh, I hated him. He's a disgusting human being. And I was just like, what? I can't. Come on, man. I'm not old enough.
Man.
He had like bow and arrow. I don't know what's happening.
He shoots pigs from a helicopter. That's what Ted Nugent does these days. I saw a video.
Well, this was like the genesis, I guess, of said.
Other music acts that you got a chance to brush with. I mean, Smashing Pumpkins. I mean, I love that story so much, but
it's so hard to like come up with it. Like, it's so funny. So every so often somebody will mention it. I'm like, oh yeah, it's more like I remember the actors and stuff. I don't know that there was a ton of musical acts being the summer. Honestly, it was a really different time. Like, there'd be no reason for everyone to be in New York. Like, everyone left the weekend. Thursday, Friday shows were the hardest to book. Like, it's literally like a job. Like, it was a job, of course, but there was like slots that you had to fill, like segments, right? And there'd be glaring holes, just like there are in a budget or any job you have. Like, yikes, look out for October. It's like the same idea. Like, it was like, what are we gonna do? And so
you got to see that board every day.
Yeah, I did.
That's crazy.
No, I didn't get to see the good board though, the writing board with the little blue cards. That's the room I wanted to be in.
Really? Why was that the room you wanted to be in?
Because I would like to have been a writer. It wasn't even an option. So, I mean, they get to write all the fun stuff. I mean, and sometimes even be on it. But really it's because of their personalities. Like, I just like, I think that's where I got along with all of them very well. And let's be honest, I didn't have a ton to do. I was just a kid in an office, like messing everything up. So they would say, hey, my wife's turning 30. Kind of want to surprise her. I'm like, what is she like? And I did like more than one 30th birthday party.
Really?
Yeah. Is Rob Burnett a writer? I feel like that's a name I did. I think it is, right?
Rob wrote once or
he's
twice.
a pretty famous guy, right? Okay, yeah. Well, I did
Rob,
believe, God, Rob, I'm sorry if I'm wrong. Believe it was his wife.
Okay, hold on. We have to isolate that. And I want to send it. I'm going to send it to.
No, please don't embarrass me, Mike.
No. That's just That's really funny. There are some people I'm going to send that part of this show to.
Audience, it's 8:56 p.m. in Pittsburgh, so it's time for a Molly Mule.
Yeah, Rob had a tenure with the show. He continued on with the show quite a week.
Now. It's a little bit nervous.
Rob was the exec producer. He was the head writer for a long time, and then ended up being one of the executive producers all the way to the end. So,
hey, how about those pictures I sent you? Did you see?
Oh, they're great. Yeah, I wish I could have loaded them up here.
Yeah.
Oh. Can I?
The guy's name was Dave. I'm trying to remember everyone's name in that picture. Betsy Steyer. Like, I remember a lot of them. That was fun. I couldn't believe I found all those. That was so crazy.
Oh, they're great. what I would like to do is I'd like to put a filter over those pictures and ask you, I want to pick out the ones that I can put under the Facebook group, because there's some really, really good ones that a lot of staffers will be like really excited to see from back in the day. So if I can post those, that'd be fantastic.
Oh, sure. I mean, they're not of me, so certainly. No, there is one of me.
There's certainly, yeah, there is.
That hair, yeah.
Great hair too.
You know what's
Absolutely.
funny? The outfit I'm wearing, literally, I was wearing today. Like, it's literally back in style. Like, that was the same T-shirt. I'm wearing the bike shorts with the stupid.
It all comes back. It just comes back with a twist sometimes, but it always comes back. Everything gets recycled.
Pretty much just the mom jeans all over again. You know? It's like I just should have saved them. This isn't interesting.
We talk about the writers being able to do things. I don't know if Steve said this on camera or not. I believe he played a police officer so many times that I believe Suham gave him the police officer costume.
Sounds about right. I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but I should mean we do have enjoyable conversations about central casting. Like, I will tell him, like, oh, blah, 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 call central casting. And he'll be like, I was in central casting. And that's exactly right. That is the exact costume. Yeah, or whatever.
You're kind of doing them a little bit too. I was in central casting.
That's, yeah, it's a definite case.
That. It's just such a, yeah.
Well, he's like, is he not a delightful storyteller? My goodness.
Oh, he's the best.
I could just listen to him tell stories all day long.
I said to him, okay, so I'll tell tales out of school a little bit here. I'm positioning to get him and Steve Young on here at the same time.
Oh, wow.
But when I said to O'Donnell, I said, hey, I'd like to get you back on the show again. Oh, are you sure? I think I've run out of things to say. Yeah, no, you haven't run out of things to say, but I do have a twist. I would like to have both of you on.
The Steve O'Donnell show. He's done so many things, but
I know. I don't know if this will land with you or not.
He's just being Steve. He doesn't need all that.
I know, and that's part of the charm. And one of the things
he's very charming. He's just, and I tell him, you're just a guy from Cleveland. He's just simmer down. I'm
gonna direct people to this clip because it's been a long time since I have. There's a clip of Steve O'Donnell accepting the Herb Sargent Comedy Award on YouTube. And Steve Young,
and I was trying to watch it in the airport this weekend, and it was just spinning, and I couldn't see it.
So good. Steve Young.
Well, then I'm gonna go back and watch it. I was looking
yeah.
at the podcast while I was stuck in Detroit, and I was trying so hard to like catch up and what you guys do, and I wanted to see it, and I couldn't see it. Darn it. Okay.
It's so good. It is such a good speech. I highly recommend that to everybody out there who you want to see a nice Steve O'Donnell moment. The speech is just so charming.
I can imagine.
And Steve Young inducted him, and Letterman sent in a video as well, which was very, very sweet. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm glad. I'm so glad we get to love all over Steve O'Donnell during this episode. That's fantastic. Because, and this is something else that so many of the folks who work there seem to have. Everybody seems to kind of be self-deprecating or downplay who they are and what they do and all that kind of stuff, when so many people kind of worship that. I think part of the secret sauce of the Letterman, even you yourself, you were there, but you loved the behind the scenes stuff. You didn't try and jockey yourself so you could see the show every night and all that kind of stuff. It was just, it's like down there, you were cool, but you didn't want to think that you were cool. What was that?
It was that about coolness. I just really, I don't know. It's so funny. I really have been thinking about this because I guess I could have done that. I just really liked the inner workings of the show. Yeah. And so it wasn't like I could like see it really. It would just be on a monitor and I could see that up by the desk, and I was more helpful answering the phones, and then I didn't have to deal with all of the BS.
Yeah.
Which always happens with famous people. I was like, they wanted a what now? Oh, darn it. I was answering the phones.
Are there any safe for broadcast stories that you can tell about that, or are those the ones that we got to keep just to the private?
Are you trying to tell me about the Dana Delana story about her hair?
If you'll tell it.
So you remember the show? No one watching this, like, hello, children. Like, no one's gonna. Back in '91, there was a show. It was pretty popular called China Beach.
Yes.
Dana Delaney. They cut her hair off in a little Dorothy Hamill-esque cut, and I guess her first stop for promotion David Letterman show, and they must have just freshly chopped it. She was on
And it
some
looked,
very
by the
pop-
way, Dana
she was on a
Delaney,
very popular
beautiful
show
woman.
before that she had long, beautiful hair. I do recall
She
that.
did. She had long hair, but it was
So this was a fresh chopperoo, okay?
Yeah.
And I never ever am like, yeah, let me help. But I'm like very like, I'm a nonprofit. As the kind of person, I have someone's like, do you want to? I'm like, what can I do to help? Well, just go into this dressing room and see if Dana Delaney would like hair and makeup. I'm like, doesn't she know if she? No, Molly, we offer it. Okay. Hi, I'm just Molly. Would you like it? For what? Have you seen my hair? And I was like, close the door. Mama Molly kicks in. I'm like, it's gonna be okay. This was very popular when I was young with Dorothy Hamilton. Pixie, it's darling. I'm like, pop in her, put like ice on her ass. Like, she has to like go on. And like, they're not gonna fix it because Dana Delaney doesn't like her hair good.
Nope.
So anyway, that was my big moment. But like at one point, like I remember it wasn't like a glamorous room or wherever we were, or if it was a side of a stage. It might not have even been in her, it might have been like, I don't know. But I just remember it kind of being long and drafty and someone going, oh, good. Like someone's dealing with it. I was like, I'm going back to the phones. Jesus.
That's the kind of stuff that you
But
got to avoid.
I think what it was that was helpful with my personality was that I don't really get starstruck, because of course I admire the artists,
Oh, yeah.
and their talent and all of that. But I'm more like, just like, I want to talk to them about it. Like I'm just like, I just would never be like asking for, And then later it's funny, when I was in hospitality, I booked a lot of movie crews and famous bands and Broadway troops,
teams.
and then also corporate people that were really famous, and like all of the different segments and
hockey teams
and hockey teams. Yeah, there were some.
Anyway,
hockey teams.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but I just
and so that all happened. But it was like I was kind of equipped from that job. I think I was very like, they're just people. I never got. Mario Lemieux does smell very good. However, I just want to say, like, I booked his hockey camp where I was in charge of the entire thing. Like, so basically, millionaires just pay $40,000 to pretend that they play hockey with Mario Lemieux for a week, and then they go to the games, and our hotel is attached to the arena. So we were like washing their pads, like it was like a whole.
Yep.
Yeah, and so
and
I
they
took
can say
Mario
they received a pass from Mario Lemieux. Mario Lemieux looks like a guy who would smell good. He looks like a guy who he's pretty well put together. The hair and the he looks like a guy that would smell good.
He's an amazing human being
in
general, and I mean, he's amazing. His family's amazing, his wife's amazing, but like just like he would check in and he always had the same room, and it just smelled like fresh laundry.
Mario Lemieux smelled like a spring day. You heard it here first, folks, on the Letterman podcast.
Such a tall glass of water. It was delightful. But it was very hard to hide him at said camps because
he's a big man.
Because he would be, so you understand, the hotel was attached to the arena, so they'd go to a few games. So this pre-gaming, people are in the bar, and I kind of stood out. It was problematic.
Didn't you stand out in Mario Lemieux's suite at one point?
Did I what?
Weren't you standing out in Mario Lemieux's suite at one point? Didn't you have a really...
Oh no, his in the arena they have a suite 66 after his.
That's the suite that I meant. The arena suite, everybody, not the hotel room suite. Come on. I did set it
up with his favorite treats, but no, I did not. No. Yeah, well, it was so sweet. He said that my friends from the Penguins that kind of knew, just from knowing me, the Smashing Pumpkins story. When the Smashing Pumpkins came to town, I got to get treated like like I mattered about the Smashing Pumpkins, but they don't know. But it was so fun. There was like a butler, and then I knew them from like booking all the things there. So like, hey, Molly, I'm like, hey, like it was like so like I got to be like, and there's dinner in there and everything, and we got to see Blake Shelton in the same suite. I was taking
there you go.
care of at that job. Yes. Well, that's all wonderful friends in hospitality, which is an amazing business, similar to television, just hardworking, really hardworking, creative, and going on nothing energy. So.
One of the things that the folks who worked for the show for a long time enjoy about this intern series that we kind of fell into in the Letterman podcast here is they love to know what people ended up getting up to and what they did. Now, obviously, you've talked about the hotel industry and things like that. You were in the hotel industry for a long time, and then you've moved into nonprofit. So, like, let's update folks who do watch this
I mean,
and want to know what Molly Sweet's up
yeah,
to.
I mean, like I'll be honest, full of regret, a lot of it, because like honestly, this has been, it's like shining a light on what did happen. But basically, like, I went back to a senior year. So oldest of 4 kids, very responsible. There's no way in hell I'm gonna get out of school and be like, oh, I'm gonna go backpacking. I'm gonna go find myself. It was like, you're gonna have a goddamn job. And it was a recession. And so my dad said, listen, I'm now a regional with Interstate Hotels, or just hotel company. Just take this job in Worcester, Mass. As a catering manager. Nothing about catering.
You got the vivacious, which is true, personality, which you could then use for,
yeah. And I think about it a lot, because I just lost my je ne sais quoi, right? Like that mojo went away. I didn't follow up. I didn't think anyone would remember me. I kind of shirked out, and then just chased a boy. Classic story. It did yield 3 beautiful children, and then was home with them for 10 years. This is not a fun story. And then I had to go back to work and moved in with my parents with 3 kids.
Yep.
And so god damn it, my what was once my assistant now is the director of sales at the Renaissance Hotel. And the internet has happened. What a good time. So it was the
time to pivot
at the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah.
And God, I mean, I was promoted quickly throughout the ranks, ended up the director of sales of many hotels here in Pittsburgh, but never really wanted to be doing that. And then one day said, well, I'm clearly not going to be in production or do what I want to do. So at least I should sell for the good guys. And so I decided, I lost a job, and I had decided to just switch to nonprofit. So I did a year with the Alzheimer's Association, running 25 walks to end Alzheimer's across Pennsylvania.
Yep.
It was a very stressful job, and I was burnt out. I was then a founding board member of the Community Liver Alliance. My husband had liver disease and was the first person cured of hepatitis C here in Pittsburgh. And so then I felt, our lives to the liver community, which nobody knows is Mecca here in Pittsburgh. Dr. Stars will do the first transplant here. And we have one of the only VA hospitals and children's hospitals, 5 full programs, and the only the largest live donor program. So people come from all over the world. So liver was big. So we seceded from a national organization and started a local community nonprofit. And I was the director of development for that. But it, again, very small. 2 of us didn't know what I was doing. Pandemic happened, lost my job. And Susan G. Komen, the Mecca of women's health, found me. And they were consolidating and starting over. So I've been on the plane as it rebuilds for 3 years, and it's been great. I run Western PA, all of the events that are public facing. So a
lot of pink ribbons.
Lots of pink. I'm about to ride the pink wave this October. And in Pittsburgh, the greatest city. And I'm in the greatest region, the Northeast. So I have all the great cities. That's how I got to see Steve, because we have a regional meeting in New York City. So I got to see him when he was teaching at NYU. So it's all great. But I'm in a good space in my job. I love my organization, but it's just been really fun, like being able to use my creative muscles a little bit and remembering all these fun things I did that I just can't believe I had the balls to do. So it's kind of like,
well, I mean, you're preaching to the choir.
Hey, I did that. Hey,
yeah. And
fun.
you're aware that you still have the desires to do that. Like I said before I turned the camera on, I'm like, you got to do stand up or something. Like, you got to there's got to be something. I mean, I see you.
Oh, start.
I see you in front of a camera. I also see you enjoying the things behind the scenes. Like it's fun to just want to be a part of something. And that's the whole reason that I kind of started the show. No outcome whatsoever, except for the itch that it scratches. And
I don't know why I so enjoy. I mean, it's like anything, just at my brother's house in Philadelphia this weekend, surprised my dad for his 70th birthday. It was so wonderful. But my brother, we call him stats, because he's track guy, and it's all about the track stats,
Yep.
Stats. And he is it's so genuine, man. He's watching this track meet. Like, who watches track meet? He'll tell you. It's the people in Britain, and they have the best commentators. And I am listening. but he just wants me to be so excited about it. That is how probably everyone around me feels when I break down like the segments of a late night show or
Yeah.
SNL, or everyone's like,
too.
yeah. My one friend Stephanie goes, I know you really love that shit, Molly. Like, I'm like, I do. Like, I send her reels, like, it's not funny. She's like, who's that? Who's that? Phil Hartman, like, she's just like I can't even, but like, it's niche, isn't that what they say? Niche.
Yeah.
Yes.
But by the way,
you don't know why you're so, I mean, I am obsessed with it. I mean, I like, it's a great, I mean, I think you do trump us all, however, my Mikey.
Really?
Oh, really? Yeah. You have a podcast about it. Yeah. You're winning. But it's cool because it's making us all remember good stuff. So it's all good. It's all good.
There you go. And if the genre needs people like us, right? Just to let you know, like, because the genre is changing right
to remember
now.
It all?
But I do the same thing. Like, I'll analyze the show itself and the segments and things like that with people. And I have gotten the sideways looks and all of that kind of stuff too. And part of the joy of doing this show is connecting with folks.
Well, I mean, that's why we talked for like almost a ridiculous amount of time the other night. And we're both like, oh, just give me 2 seconds. But we're total dorks about this stuff. And it's what you're into, my sister has really specific taste in the music she loves, and she just knows every single player in that world. I mean, like, that's just passion, and it's just so fun to be invited back to the table. We can talk about it. It's fantastic. So
you have a standing invite, my friend.
And I'm so flattered to have been thought of. So thank you so much for that.
Oh, well, okay. And I don't know if we're quarter past here. So
I was not wrapping it up. I would not be so presumptuous, but I was just saying I wanted to thank you.
No, but we're like, again, thanks to Steve. Like, I'm so grateful that Steve, connected us, and
I am too.
Yeah, it's just
now I have a new Canadian friend.
Absolute beauty. That's a beauty right there.
Beauty.
Absolutely.
Beauty.
Okay, so as we are going to kind of move towards the close here, if there was anything that you like, I mean, the question I like to ask is if there's anything that you learned while you were there that kind of endured itself. And I mean, I think that
so when you want to pitch something, it means to try to sell it.
Yeah.
And not send it back with a rejection letter. That was the first thing I messed up. Big box VHS tapes. I mean, big box. Said for Morty to pitch. I'm a Virgo. I like to clean. I like to be organized. I wrote a lovely, really, really kind rejection letter to everyone that now in hindsight was probably told like 4 times, but they just, after hiatus, they were going to get it to Morty. Like, could you imagine like the disaster? And I can't even imagine how like poor form it was. So I sent a letter, wrapped it up, went down the packaging. And so they all get back and we're in Madeline's office and we're going around and I'm like, I did this. And she's like freaking out because I cleaned her office. Okay. And I mean, I cleaned it. She's like, where's my this? Where's my that? She's like kind of flipping out. And Betsy's right there. And she's kind of laughing. And I'm like, and then I took care of all of the tapes to be pitched. And she's like, where are they? What do you mean? And I said, all right. And then Mary Connolly was there, effing humiliating because she's so cool. They're all there. All the cool women were there. And doubled over, I believe one of them said, you can't do anything. She's free. And I went, oh, and then I got it, like way too late. Okay. So then cut to 10 minutes later, though, they were illegally smoking in her office.
Sure.
And her garbage can caught on fire. And I saved the day. And I ran in and they were like, you're okay, kid. And then Madeline, probably shouldn't say this, but it's true. I found this also in the archives. I did not send it to you, but she dictated her recommendation letter to me.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I didn't make a good impression, but I didn't use it for anything either. But she did sign it.
Well, you did throw out an entire box of videotape pitches. So, I
mean, I was a free 19-year-old that had no instruction and was trying to be helpful, give a kid a break. Also, I went to interview at CNN in DC and didn't know who the Secretary of Defense was. And and the driver of my dad's just screaming, Dick fucking Cheney! I was like, oh God, right.
We're going to put Molly on the entertainment side as opposed to the news division. We're going to keep her on the entertainment side.
Only 2 sips of the Molly Mule, and look what happened.
I adore you, Molly. This has been so much fun.
Mike, you're delightful. Honestly, it's been such a good time getting to know you in the past couple of days, and I'm so flattered again to have been invited. And I can't wait to watch the whole Intern series. I might know a few. It's really fun.
I'm certain that you will end up knowing a few. Absolutely. Thank you so much. And it's late where you are right now, so thank you for taking time. And I just you know what? I'll do the outro while you're here. Oh no, you look great. No. You don't need ice. You don't need ice. So are we gonna do the thing?
Oh yeah. Okay. This is what I do every day when I walk the dog. Ready?
Okay.
Yours is a little lower than I would go. I'm just saying. But
for the audio listeners, I'm taking my man bun down and she's putting her woman bun in.
We're gonna match equal bunnage.
Well, we were gonna match. Now I'm down. See, now we're the other way.
Oh, so. Right. Opposite day. Listener, if you have kids from SpongeBob years, that was the funniest episode, right?
There it is.
Wait, you always go low, like low.
Until you get the headache and then it comes out.
No, I'm being you. I'm going to host a podcast. I have a beard, so I'm serious.
To hide all my secrets. So this has been another episode of the Letterman podcast with Mike Chisholm. That is Molly Sweet. Coincidentally, I am Mike Chisholm. Thank you and good night.
Overcoat and underpants.